Waiting for us to begin. We had some technical difficulties, and I'm so sorry. I guess being a newbie, I didn't hit something that I was supposed to hit to take Zoom to live, Facebook Live, but we're here. And real quick, so that I don't spend a lot of time, again, my name is Joyce Fine. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And I am the founder of The Confidence Hustle, and I've been doing great interviews with women who have been killing it with confidence in a series of live interviews called The Confidence Interviews. So creative. So anyway, I want to introduce our guest for this evening, Michelle Arpin Begina, otherwise known as Michelle AB, aka the Indomitable, right? Michelle AB. So Michelle talks about she's a financial behavior and expert, and in understanding our relationship with money. Michelle believes we all need to examine the money stories, scripts, and lessons that affect our financial psychology, so that we can rethink what we know about money to have more of it, as well as have more confidence around our money. So with that said, let's get right into it. And again, I apologize everybody for getting on too late. So I want to set the stage, and Michelle is going to explain to us how she's going to provide us some context and tell us how she got to where she is today around this concept. Thanks, Michelle, for being here.
Welcome. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Joyce. I love your interviews. I love what you're up to. Just talking about a little bit of confidence, only like the biggest subject in the world when it comes to money.
Yes.
So awesome you kicked this off. Yeah, so tell me where you want to go.
So give us a little, set the stage, how you got to where you are today, and then just go into, given the unique work that you do, can you explain to us what financial therapy means? I had mentioned that in a Facebook post advertising our discussion about financial therapy. So, give us a taste of what that is.
Absolutely. So I think I have a story that's similar to a lot of people, that it's really a story of using all the lessons from my past to create a future, a lot of them from my childhood. And my parents' conflicts over money were always in the air growing up. So their issues spilled over to me as a kid, and it was a bit much for me to process, much less understand at a really young age. So even though there were private airplanes and automobiles in the driveway, my parents walked a financial tightrope without a safety net, and they spent everything they made. That leaves a mark.
Yes, I can only imagine.
Call it, when I think back on it, it was morbid curiosity turned healthy obsession. Money was always on my mind growing up as a kid, and I turned that curiosity into a profession.
That's amazing. You really made lemonade. You made lemonade out of lemons, basically.
I did, and financial therapy has become a thing. It's become actually a profession in the last 10 or 12 years.
Really?
I was just getting on-the-job training for it since way back.
Yes, as a young kid.
Exactly. And, one of my favorite expressions is, all blessings come wrapped in sandpaper. It's Lisa.
I love that expression. That's
it's so true.
It really
is. Financial therapy is really thinking about money from the inside out. It's like what my mom used to use that expression all the time. It was usually in when the mean girls were around, is what's inside that counts.
Yeah.
So it's really, financial therapy is about understanding our relationship with money, because we all inherit a relationship with our money from our parents, from the generations before them. And most of us are unaware that we have this relationship. And being unaware of it can create some unintended financial consequences as a result of that. So it's really raising the awareness about how our attitudes were formed, what we believe, what experiences we made meaning from, how we might have overcompensated, undercompensated for those experiences, and how all of that is in play consciously and subconsciously, and how that drives our behavior is really important. So it's the other side of, it's an expanded definition of financial literacy, really. It's not just your skills and your knowledge, it's your self-knowledge. It's the emotional side of money.
Right. That makes so much sense. I remember when I was younger, we didn't really talk about money in my house. So I really came from a place as I became an adult of being financially almost illiterate, I guess, and trying to build the confidence that I needed to deal with money and not be sort of, I guess, afraid of it or put off by it, which I venture guess a lot of women are.
Yeah.
So that's amazing that you're able to do that and put that into a framework that can really work for people if they're not financially savvy. You can think of it in so many different ways.
Yeah. I like what you just said, Joyce. As women, we get so many messages. All of us get messages. Some of us get messages growing up that it's none of your business, or you don't need to worry about that, or almost a little pejorative, don't worry your pretty little head about that. And what that actually teaches us is that it's not okay to ask. If we're curious, it's not okay to scratch that itch and to learn. And it can definitely hold us back.
Right. And then on the other hand, growing up the way, and some of us grow up when we see things that maybe we're too young to really understand. And then that stays with you. Right. And it's like you've seen too much, but you're so young, you can't process it. So there's so many stories, I'm sure. So given that, and, talking about the confidence to deal with money or feel secure in dealing with money, can you talk a little bit with us about confidence versus competence and courage around money?
Yeah. So women, I think we tend to overcompensate with the competence piece, the skills, the knowledge. I know I can speak for myself. It was always about getting more education, which I'll tell that story in a minute. There was a drive to become educated and to know more, to get more designations. And we can mistake competence for confidence. They are related. And I think they're a close cousin to courage also, confidence and courage. But competence is what you know.
Yeah.
The knowledge, the skill, the experiences. Confidence is really owning what it is that you do in the unique way that you do it. So the abilities and the qualities that you have that you bring to the table and feeling secure in that, right? But I think competence doesn't wane. We can always learn more, but when you have competence, you have competence, right? You have a knowledge base. Confidence can come and go, right?
Right.
And so can courage. So what I always say, what I realized is, especially with courage, you need to step up in the moments that it really counts, right? You don't need to be in a constant state of courage. You just need to know when those moments are really going to count. And I would say the same thing about confidence, right? You need to know. But confidence to me is really about assessing your state of mind and knowing where you are and the state of mind you want to transition to. Because women women can feel insecure, incapable, when what they'd really like to feel is empowered and in control, right? So they want to shift from one state of being to another. So it's really identifying, well, what state am I in?
Right.
And most of all, we want to feel wealthy and we want to be wealthy, because they're not the same thing, right? So if we've achieved a level of wealth, we want to feel wealthy too, because there's nothing worse than being wealthy and you still don't feel secure, right? Like, what's the point?
Those comparisons are so important for people to remember, and also to, it's hard sometimes to take a deep look into yourself, but it seems like it's a very necessary thing in order to break out of those old patterns and feel competent and confident at the same time.
Yes.
And pick your battles. As you said, you can't always every day. I wish I could be confident every single day of my life. It just isn't the way it is sometimes. But those are great analogies.
I just have to share this. Like, I got this at 6:30 tonight, and this came through my phone, and I said, this is a sign for us tonight.
Okay.
So I get an email, and this was a beautiful photograph with a quote. Time and reflection change the sight little by little till we come to understand.
Wow.
Paul Cézanne. So I just thought, and what you just said, I'm like, this is so appropriate. I have to share. Like, what a beautiful quote.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. So
yeah, well, that was not me. That came from somewhere.
So let's talk about another expression that people often say, which is being good with money. It's really not just about the finances. You say, or I think you've mentioned in the past, it's an emotional journey that leads up to solving a problem. Yeah. And with that, can you talk a little bit about the hero concept?
Yeah. So being good with money is also, there's a double meaning to it. It's being good with money is, yeah, I'm good with money, right? It's that knowledge of, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. It's a state of mind, and it's also a knowledge that you have financial well-being, right? You're set for life, however you define it, which is, to me, the end goal, right?
Yeah,
is your agenda, you're meeting it, you're happy. So what I will often ask people is, what does being good with money look like to you? And they'll describe it. And usually people, a person will come to mind, or a series of people will come to mind, and they'll think about, the qualities they observed or traits. And a lot of it is based on assumptions, because the funny thing is, they say we don't talk about money, but I completely disagree. We're just having the conversations up in our head.
Absolutely right. You're right. Yes.
So, but we have good role models for money, and really, what does being good with money mean to you is a role modeling type of question. You're going to think about role models, and if you were to actually ask yourself that and start to identify traits and habits and different things that you observed, what you're actually doing is identifying the traits that are within you, that are within your capacity, your ability, your competence, your confidence to actually be. Because we spend so much time on what do we want, right? On one end of the spectrum is, what do we want?
Right.
On the other end of the spectrum is, why do we want it, right? And we could talk about my big why.
Yes.
Most of the time, though, we spend our time in the how we're going to get from point A to point B, the doing part, right? We're not human beings, we're human doings most of the time, especially busy ladies. And a question like, what does being good with money mean? And you think about it a little more introspectively about yourself, about what you've observed, you're answering the being part, because you have to be good with money in order to create money. And it's not necessarily the actions that you take, the actual doing. It is also that state of mind process, right? It's not fake it till you make it.
No.
It's fake it until you become it. You have to absorb it.
That's right. So human doing, not human being. That is a great, I love that. That's really makes so much sense. And so since we started a little,
we all can relate to that.
Oh yeah. So since we started a little bit late, we're gonna be ending at 7:30. So there's a very, I definitely want to, before we go, we get off, I want, Michelle, for you to share your personal money lessons with us in the next couple of minutes. And then I want to make sure we have a little time in case there's questions.
Right.
So definitely tell us about that.
Okay. So I just want to warn all the listeners that I'm going to throw my parents under the bus here in just a second. But before I do, what I want to share is that I internalized two beliefs that I got from my parents, which have served me so well. And the first was what I mentioned earlier, that it's what's inside that counts. I got from my mom.
Right.
My dad, I got, you can be anything you want to be. And those two beliefs are the core of my being. And they sure have come in handy to be a therapeutic money advisor.
Wow.
Wrapped in
It's
there.
amazing how things come full circle.
It really does, right? We're given all the clues. We're just supposed to
make it happen.
do something with them,
Yeah.
right?
So I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. So when I was 17, my heart stopped beating. Luckily, I was shocked back from flatlining, and I realized that I was standing on a dock at a marina, not lying down inside of a coffin. There was a secret about money that nearly killed me, and my desire to learn kept me alive, and shame kept me from telling the story for over 33 years.
Yeah.
The story was having spendthrift parents had a profound effect on me. It made me very financially insecure growing up. And what I know now is giving voice to this secret, or any secret, will free us all. That's how it's done. Yeah. That day on the dock, I left with the only three things that remained: my soul, a pulse, and a dream. Right. It was my dream to get an education. So I worked full-time, 8 years. It took me to get that education. And I say education and not degree because I love to learn, with a capital L. Mm-hmm. I blow dry my hair in the morning reading books a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
I just love to learn.
Really
so
did.
There was no way I was not getting an education.
Right.
And what I realized was I was determined not to allow the unintended consequences of the financial choices that my parents were making to reverberate onto me and my relationship with money. I was just lucky that I figured that out really early.
You really, yeah.
And yeah. So my life's work has become about helping people understand their relationship with money and preventing the ripple effect of unintended consequences that can happen when they don't have that awareness.
So it's like your big why was?
This took a while to figure out, and it took even longer to say, right? This was all bottled up for a really long time. My big why, one of the greatest fears that we all have is either to not have enough or to lose everything, financially speaking. Right? We all fear financial insecurity on some level. I lived it. I know what that feeling is. Now, I lived it in the way that most people don't think that, excuse me, that it will come. I had hardworking, able-bodied, smart parents who made a great living, who were spendthrifts. Right. And we'll go back to that word spendthrift in a second. So I lived financial insecurity by way of decisions that were being made, and I was I received the unintended consequences of that. And I know what it means to literally have an airplane and your parents have $5 in the bank.
It's unbelievable.
That's how much of a tightrope it was, right? Growing up, it just felt like a financial tightrope with no safety net whatsoever. Wow. So my big why,
yes,
is I know what financial insecurity feels like, and I don't want anyone to ever feel that. So my mission is to help people get set for life, however they define it. Because thinking more forward, what most people want is they want the financial freedom and choice that comes with financial wellness.
Yes.
So I'm taking it from a really dark place, and I think I'm bringing it to a really light place.
100%. Thank you so much for sharing that story. That story is unbelievable. And I'm sure a lot of people will find so much inspiration from what you have told us and shared with us tonight.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I
It's a
also,
whole other story how I finally let
wow.
that see the light of day. That's for
Yeah.
another
Yes.
conversation.
We'll have another discussion about it. But I did want to just let everybody know that if you want to sign up for Michelle's newsletter, you can sign up on her website, which is michelleab.com. And do you want to add anything to that, Michelle?
Yeah, so that's a great place to find me. Sign up for the newsletter, and
Yeah.
I do a group workshop program called Recalculating Your Money. You're familiar with it, Joyce.
I am.
And it's a 4-week program. So I'm enrolling for October, and anyone that goes to my website and sends me a message and lets me know that they want to enroll, I will discount $100 off of anybody that has found me by way of our Facebook conversation tonight.
So generous. And I can say from firsthand experience, I did take the workshop that Michelle offers, and it is amazing and makes you think differently and for the better. And I recommend it highly. It's a really amazing experience. So that's a great offer, and a great experience for whoever feels they need to take something like that or just wants to expand their mind. So thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.
You're welcome. So I just want to see, it doesn't look like we have any questions right now, but again, if you're listening to this after the fact and you have questions or you want to, touch base with Michelle, like we said, the best way to get in touch with her is on her website, michelleab.com. If you're interested in finding out more about building your confidence, you can get in touch with me at theconfidencehustle.com. So again, thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing this inspirational story. I had such a great time interviewing you.
Thank you.
And again, sorry to all the listeners for being late on this interview, but like I said, technical difficulties, what can I say? So I will have hopefully in a couple weeks time some more information about the next confidence interview that will be coming up. So stay tuned for that, and I'll make sure to send out all the information on that. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing everyone soon. And thank you, Michelle, again for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.